Welcome to the Cerulean Skies channel, where we explore all things flight sim and MilSim. On land, sea, sky, and space. And recently, I've discovered Arma. Well, I've known for a while that Arma existed, but I'd never really made time for it, spending most of my time on DCS and other flight simulators. But I'm glad I finally began to explore it, because Arma is incredible. I've also messed around with Squad, which is another pretty good MilSim, but it's a bit arcadish compared to Arma. Arma, when it comes to MilSims, is hardcore. So hardcore, in fact, that the company that makes it actually uses a military version of this software to train infantry and other military personnel. And Arma offers great simulation not just of infantry, it also offers heavy equipment such as tanks, aircraft, including jets and helicopters, submersibles, and any number of UAVs, from the backpackable kind used to spot and laze the enemy, to the larger UAVs that are quite capable of carrying any kind of armament you can think of. And you can be quite certain that in coming months we're going to be exploring a lot of Arma. Now Arma is dated, it's 10 years old, which is very old as software goes, but it receives continual updates, and as you can see, the graphics are pretty good. They're not on par with later releases such as Squad, but Arma isn't about the prettiest graphics. Arma is about hardcore realism.
If you could mark its position, we should be able to send some mortar shots this way as well, which at the very least will detonate the minefield. You've got to be within the circle, but people aren't, so it should be fine.
Here, we are tasked with demolishing various comms equipment, and we also have to secure the area. To accomplish this, some of our units are going to stay above on the hillside, and me and some others are going to have to invade that small urban area down there.
I'm a mortar team.
Now, one of the things that I really like about Arma is it does weapon sights, including scopes, red dot sights, and lasers really well. As a guy who's fairly familiar with weapons and also hunts regularly, I have a fair amount of practical experience in this area. I find that the sense of handling with the weapons is also very well executed. They feel realistic. You might have observed a moment ago how I switched between the red dot sight and the scope just beneath. This is something I also like a lot about Arma, especially as compared to Squad, which I think would be its closest competition. Squad, being more gamish, is all about balance, whereas Arma, being more of a MilSim, doesn't care so much about balance, as it aims to be faithful to modern technology. And it is very common on modern weapons to double sight types, red dots for quick close quarters combat, scopes for combat at range. After all, modern assault rifles are very accurate even at a few hundred meters. If combat is going to occur outdoors, it only makes sense to put scopes on them.
Alright, I'm moving up and I'm pop a marker on the map. Group channel, I believe.
Shots away. Splash 10.
We have a pilot of one of the aircraft behind me announcing that he's just dropped bombs on a region. And just there, you could hear the explosion of those bombs. I like how he announced to the friendlies that the bombs were falling, as would be done in a real operation. Though I should note that this particular server is not a hardcore military sim. I'd like to join one of the hardcore military sim servers, but so far I haven't been able to find a schedule that works for me. But we'll keep looking. Time to push into that town.
Hey, are there mines? Probably.
Notice the size of the maps. Running out into the open doesn't make you automatically a target for everyone and everything down there. The maps are just so big. So, as would be done in real combat, if you can fairly well assess that there's nobody with eyes on you down there, odds are good that you can run down, I wouldn't call it safely, but safer. Whereas if you are operating in a smaller map that is built around the idea of ongoing action, simply going out into the open at all would likely be certain death.
It's gonna be down in some check.
If you can mark it, I can also bomb it for you as well.
I don't know if you put a bomb right there, but that was right on it.
Probably.
I have found in the other MilSim that I mess around with, the one that I've already mentioned, Squad, that taking cover is only of so much value. It's often more useful in Squad to take a more arcade game approach and simply rush in and be very aggressive. But with Squad, making use of cover makes a big difference. Cover keeps the enemy from seeing you, cover protects you better. The sim just has a more realistic feel. It is older, but like I said, the designers constantly upgrade it, so that not just the graphics, but the play itself is much more realistic.
Ryan, get clear. Make sure everyone else stays clear of that spell. I'm gonna send shots.
We'll just go ahead and jump ahead a little bit here, further into the run toward the town. The maps are big in Arma, and you won't quickly get from point A to point B. You're going to have to work for it.
He did.
Ryan, you just back away a little further. Okay, it's clear. Shots away.
Unfortunately for me, I didn't hear that call that bombs were heading toward this radio tower, and I got knocked down by the percussion blast. Fortunately, friendlies are not too far away, and they'll come pick me up shortly.
The mortar shells are still going
There's
to
mortars
Ryan.
coming in. Get in there, don't go,
Get in there,
don't go.
Splash.
It's a good unit. The moment they saw I was down there, they're all over getting me back up and in the fray. That's another thing about Arma. You function as a unit till you die.
Get away.
Buddies matter. Your unit matters. In some battles, you may get another life, but it costs the team. In other battles, it's one life and then you're out. So you pay attention. You don't go in all gung-ho and pretend you're an invincible superhero. And that's something else I like about Arma. What you do actually matters.
Terrible coordinates with the mortar team.
Hope he's got medical insurance.
One casualty from that whole
Cover
thing.
me.
He was already
And I
dead.
think-
He was already...
Yeah, I think he's the one who's stepping landmine, so that's, I should say, that's a pretty good hit.
Alright, well,
There you go.
mortar team...
All right, thanks, guys. I'm back on my feet and back into the action. I am coordinating a lot with these guys as we go along. However, you can't hear it because, well, I haven't used some features with OBS on Arma before, and they weren't set right, so it didn't record my own comms chatter. Unlike in DCS, which I often video capture, I can capture my own comms by just recording through DCS, but it doesn't work that way with Arma. I learned while recording this that to capture my own voice with OBS, I have to record my voice directly.
Alright, I'm at it.
Continuing to push in. And between all the bombs going off and all the gunfire, you can hear that it's hot down here.
Yeah, it just flew over a whole bunch of guys still.
Alright. Activating vehicle. About to head on in. Anybody want to be a gunner?
Did you hear that radio call just there? He's looking for a gunner for his vehicle. I think he's grabbing a tank or an APC. And that is just awesome. Crewed vehicles require a crew to operate. It's not just a rule in the game. They actually require a crew.
It's a big bomb, for God's sake.
Enemy's right under the chopper that just flew out of the AO there.
Yeah, can we get
Venus, there's
somebody
a motor
to
position
grab
here.
a, what you call it? Somebody go grab a couple of
Yeah, I wanna
cars
have
or
4 walls.
something. So, in case we get another AO, we can
What
just
did you
easily
say?
bring in troops and easily fight.
There's a mortar position here that you can take over.
Where is the mortar position? Can you mark on the map?
Uh,
for me?
north side of the AO near the Marshal.
Alright.
I've drove past that already. Why are people...
I just stay there, I'll land in front of you.
Alright.
Now to secure this town, we need to clear all the enemy infantry down here. We're not going to be able to run through every building and clear it. So what we have to do is make a little racket and use ourselves for bait, but do it cleverly so that they don't just mow us down the moment they hear us. We'll also clear as many of the buildings facing the side of the comm towers where enemy infantry and snipers would have the best vantage of us. That's where we're most likely to find them, in those areas.
Click it once though, because otherwise it just resets it.
Let's go park 3
We found them, taking fire.
He just needs him to turn off the music. That's all.
He's
Yeah,
been
like
told
you-
multiple times
Kills,
by
did you just-
multiple different people I have him muted now because I'm tired of telling him. I've told him at least 3 times myself. So, yeah. No, if he's not stopping, he needs to get vote
The medic
kicked.
decided to get out of my vehicle near the mortar position. Can I get a medic over here? Despite the fact that he is also a medic.
Steve-O, what is his name again?
If you were paying attention to the comms between the troops in the background, it sounds like they were having an issue with one of the players wanting to use vehicles that he's not certified for. And I guess they've had enough of it because they're contemplating kicking him. I don't think they did. This was a pretty friendly group, and overall, if they can provide instruction and teach people how to go about using the sim, they seem to be much happier to do that than to try to play hardcore ass. And you can tell by the bodies that we're coming across that we are having some success. Bit by bit, we're weeding them out. Soldiers that have seen actual combat in the past have told me that war is 99% boredom and 1% terror, and that's something else that Arma tends to reflect really well. A lot of the time there's nothing going on, and then all of a sudden there is, and lots of it. Too much of it. Situational awareness itself becomes a tremendous challenge.
I need medical.
Can't even load up my tank. My beautiful tank.
I dropped them off to a psycho medic. I'm quite happy with that result.
Taking fire.
Yeah, I can't load it
You
up.
just park on this side of the thing if you want to live.
I know he's somewhere over there, but I can't quite get a view on him yet.
It's not allowed. It's probably too big.
I'm about 99% certain he's just around that corner.
Do we have any other tank that can spawn in? Is there any way I can spawn in another tank?
Need a rhino. Rhino is the one that you want.
Yeah, how do I...
There he is. Did you see his gun peeking just around the corner of that house center screen?
Jesus Christ.
So it turns out I can't use the enemy mortar emplacements, but it's still a safe spot for me to mortar from anyway, so I'm going to set up here anyway.
I'm guessing right now he doesn't even know I'm there, that he's focused on one of the unit members behind me.
Should I just drive
Going to
it
try
out
to
this
take
point?
advantage of that and duck out of this door here so I can get a better line of sight on him. And he is down.
Hey, Gypsy, I got a request for you. Just bring us a vehicle resupply.
Your rope was down, Steven.
Unfortunately,
I've been winged a few times and my avatar is feeling it. Slowing down, vision's getting a bit blurry. Can't walk or run as fast. Arma tries to be pretty realistic with concepts such as body armor and the way that injuries would affect a soldier. You don't take injuries and then just heal up and get all of your movement back. At the same time, any little tap of a weapon doesn't kill you. It could incapacitate you partially, or it could kill you. It very much depends how it hits you and where. No, I don't claim to be an expert on Arma. I have not been playing it for even a week yet, but I am increasingly impressed with everything that I'm seeing. Now, if I can just get this gunman out there before he gets me. I'm sure you noticed how much I'm missing what appears to be a straightforward and easy shot there. And part of that relates to the fact that my character, my avatar, has been hit. And I'm just not able to hold the weapon as steadily as I used to.
Alright, bet.
CSA, yeah, I'll take it. Take it big time.
Well, just as a heads up, people in this group.
And he's down.
He's back up, and it's in a much closer range, so expect faster delivery times.
I'm trying to move faster, but I just can't. I'm hurt too bad. I don't have any more bandages. or anything else to treat myself. That guy up there is a medic, but there's too many enemies around here right now, and he can't take his eyes off the streets to take a moment to treat me. Like I said, it's a good unit, though. He'll be back just as soon as he's sure he's cleared the area. In the meantime, I'm going to do what I can to try to provide overwatch, but this is about as fast as my avatar can move at this point, so what I can accomplish is limited.
There's got some intel here, apparently. I might bombard the intel first, see if that'll, security intel if we've not got any marks.
The external view portrays the way my avatar is injured pretty well. Bit of a limp, and every movement hurts, but nothing to do but keep fighting.
Ah, shoot. I gotta go get myself whitelisted again.
He'll finish clearing the area, and then he'll come back and patch me up. This area here is pretty much clear, and we're about to take a chopper to the next AO, or area of operations.
Yeah, I can hear you guys. I couldn't hear anyone earlier.
That group glitch.
Fuck.
Freaking snipers behind me somewhere. Sure, it's fine.
So there's an enemy sniper.
Yeah, it's behind me somewhere. Oh, let's say friendly fire.
No, it's an enemy sniper, it says. He's announcing his kills, he's just gloating over them.
I hear him
Yeah, I can hear everyone sick.
It's frustrating. I can hear the fire, but I can't quite tell what direction it's coming from. It's a common issue in Arma, again because the maps are big. Sound can bounce around. It means you have to wonder. You have to worry. You have to think. It's more than just a video game. It is a MilSim simulator. And these things, which might be by video game standards considered weaknesses, I think are its tremendous strengths, including a friendly unit running up behind me but not giving me notice that he's approaching, so I nearly shot him. Whereas in MilOps, an approaching friendly would have given you some sort of signal that he's coming to try to minimize the risk of friendly fire, which is a very real risk in war and any operation. Somebody has eyes on me. I'm taking fire fast, and took another small wound. It's time to move. Then, after taking a moment to treat myself, get back into the fray.
Alright, I'm about to go. Can you use the, can you move the marshal? Can you pick it up?
Are you on base or are you like in the battlefield?
Yeah, I'm on base.
I can drop anything.
I hear some kind of vehicle approaching, a tank, maybe an armored personnel carrier. And my avatar is a LAT, meaning in addition to his infantry duties, he carries a light anti-tank weapon. So should enemy armor appear, I need to be ready for it.
I'm right now driving up to you. Is this you right here?
Yeah, that's me.
Alright.
Just drive to the back and she'll give you the option to load vehicle.
It's right there when they say just drive to the back that I realize that what I feared might be armor is actually a friendly vehicle.
Hey, first chance someone gets, could you
We're
flag
loaded.
down that
Let's go.
friendly Kuma that's just driving into the town and tell them not to do that?
Every time you see that radio icon pop up, it means I was radioing a reply. In this case, that I try to inform that friendly vehicle of enemy activity should I get a chance. But I need to learn how to set up OBS better to record my own audio when using Arma. Which means I also need to remember to switch when recording DCS versus recording Arma.
Just drop me in the middle of the battlefield to where I can push up with a squad.
Copy that.
Just like a quick drop it.
You can use the option. You've got the option to unload yourself whenever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just fly over the battlefield
screw
and just...
That's our friendly tank over there. And you know, one of the things that I think is incredible about Arma is I know actual tank drivers who like driving tanks in Arma because the simulation is so good. There's another fairly well-known tank simulator for those really into MilSims called Steel Beast. It's somewhat pricey because it also really aims at realism, and it too, I believe, is used by the military for training tank personnel, but tank drivers I know prefer Arma 3. I have the tank DLC myself, but I haven't had a chance to get into them yet, but I will. There's the guy who was shooting at me earlier. Somebody got him before I could, I think.
You know, whenever I was young, I also seeked attention anywhere I could get it by being a jackass. I think he's taking this just a little too far.
I'm trying to keep some distance between me and that friendly tank because, well, tanks are bait. They're not invincible like many people think. They're easily destroyed if one has the right hardware. I mean, this rifle isn't going to do it, but any lats or hats, a heavy anti-tank rocket carrier could do it, or an aircraft or chopper or even a drone. And if they do draw that kind of missile fire, I don't want to be anywhere nearby when it happens. Seems like no matter where I go and no matter what I do, though, that tank is going to be nearby. However, something amazing is about to happen, and I'm going to focus more on showing you that than worrying about moving. Watch this.
Oh, sure, your transport.
Thank you, sir.
Look at that. We called in an armored personnel carrier, and it's being airdropped to us. It was flown here by one of the real chopper pilots in the sim, and it's being dropped on the outskirts of town for our personnel. How is that for realism?
Gotcha, sir. Moving it quick.
I can't get in the
Where are you at?
Oh my god.
Bro.
Well, with the main battle tank on our side, and an APC in the area, and overwhelming infantry forces on foot, we pretty well have this part of the battle wrapped up. Now, the entire war took about 3 hours to play out, but I think you get the drift. Arma 3 is something incredible. It may be 10 years old, but it's still going strong. Now, Arma 4 is in the works, but it's not expected to be out for a year or two, but I, for one, can hardly wait. In the meantime, I am very happily going to use Arma 3.
east, fucking, and the northwest. Fucking just be careful on that side of town.
Be careful, be careful. Holy